I love it. And I know that you guys have innovated before. And so let's go back to one of those other innovations. You have called out some traditional vulnerability management vendors for only pointing out the bad things, the issues, right? But
Yes.
you guys were able to integrate patching and it's been a game changer. So why has that been a game changer? How has it reshaped the industry?
Look, I mean, it goes back to Qualys, as an innovator, as a culture that we have really about talking to customers, listening to them, and not so much just like, oh, because the industry analysts have certain categories that you have to follow that, right? Like that's part of the business. But if you stay close to the customer, and this is where about 4 or 5 years ago, as I go out and talk to a lot of customers, it was becoming apparent that the challenge was not as much just finding vulnerabilities. They were really struggling to have an impact. They're saying, look, I'm spending all this money. I show my IT team all of this stuff, and not a lot is getting fixed. And it worries me that we're sitting with all this risk. And so I figured, like, hey, this is an opportunity for us to come up with a disruption and innovative approach and think something very different that is aligned with what the customer is looking for. Of course, when I launched that initial idea that we could do patch management with Flawless, I can tell you a lot of competition and industry experts went on record to say publicly that this does not make any sense, and then nobody will, use patch management from Qualys. But I will tell you, in 2024, just the fact that Qualys was able to deploy 110 million patches with our customers, that really makes us one of the top patch management vendors in this space, really focus on cybersecurity. And so it's been very fulfilling and exciting for me at a personal level to really just see that our thought process, our innovation is a game changer, and it has definitely helped us as a company, create a revenue stream that makes sense, but also for customers who are able to actually truly have impact of their cyber programs by showing that not only did I point out all these issues, but we actually help fix so many issues and thus reduced the risk. And so we're doing the same now with the Risk Operations Center and agentic AI, right? Nobody has really come up with this idea of a risk operations center that can help you triage your risk and tying risk to business objectives and also getting remediation done. So again, there is no category from these analyst firms around the risk operations center. There's like, CTEM is a category that everybody talks about, but CTEM just exposes your exposure.
Yep.
So what's the point of exposing your exposure if you're not fixing it, right? And by the way, like I said, the CTEP solution will tell you your risk score is 900, but if you don't know the dollar value loss, your prioritization is entirely flawed, because the moment I give you the dollar value loss, your prioritization can flip on its head. What you thought was the highest priority now becomes the lowest priority. So really, the Risk Operations Center sort of takes the CTEM capability, consumes that into that, and so yeah, nobody's done it. We're innovating. It's new. But that's what you need to do in the industry, is to come up with newer, simpler solutions for the customers than just following what your competition is doing. And so we're excited about what we're doing in terms of innovation here at Qualys.